Every time I go into a client's home, one of the first things I talk about is the importance of creating an environment with rules, structure, boundaries, consistency, calm energy, and the appropriate amount of mental and physical stimulation per their breed, age, health, and temperament. I'm not going to need to give the same amount of mental stimulation, say, to a Pekingese, that I would to a border collie, a cattle dog, a German shepherd, a dog that was bred to be a working dog breed, because these dogs are incredibly smart and need a lot of mental stimulation, okay? Just like a very gifted child in school. The more that they were bred to do very high functioning tasks, the more important it is for you to give them the appropriate amount of mental stimulation. So when people say, what exactly is that? I'm like, good question. So think of it like this. Anything that causes your dog to have to think or problem solve, that's mental stimulation, okay? So sort of like when you go to the gym, that's physical stimulation, okay? After a hard day of work, or let's say you're a college student and you take a really hard math or science test, you come home and you're mentally drained. That kind of exhaustion is more tiring. So when you give a working dog more physical stimulation, what you're actually doing without even realizing it is you are energizing them, right? Think about how you feel after you come home from a gym, right? And you've worked out for an hour and a half. You are so energized you could clean the whole house. So when you provide, however, mental stimulation, you are going to have a really well-balanced and very tired dog. When a dog who has a very high mental capacity is bored and they're not getting appropriate outlets, structured outlets that you provide, guess what happens? Everything becomes their outlet. The kid walking by your house becomes the outlet. Other dogs in your pack may become an outlet. They become very destructive. All of a sudden, all of these problem behaviors start. Why? Because a dog is bored and is not challenged to the level that he needs to be. Somebody did this the other day and they said, well, I always ask my dog to sit and I kind of put him through their commands. And I'm like, are these commands that they already know? And they're like, yeah. And I said, okay, well, think of it like this. You're doing the same crossword puzzle 5 times. Is it the same type of mental stimulation on the 5th time or the 6th time and the 7th time? Or are you now just doing it by rote, right? It's memory. You already know how to do it. You can fill in the blanks like that. Mental stimulation is really anything that causes them to have to think or problem solve. So there's lots of different games out there. All you have to do is Google mental stimulation for dogs. And if you really want to get more specific, say mental stimulation for German shepherds, or mental stimulation for border collies, or mental stimulation for cattle dogs. When I was talking about creating a home and an environment with rules and structure and boundaries, what does that mean? Well, no different than you would give your kids, right? If you teach your kids, if you have rules in place and they know the rules and they don't follow the rules, there's consequences. Am I going to give them access to my couch if I'm sitting on it anytime they want to? No. Not because I'm one of those, no, you can't do that. If my dog instigates affection, attention, and play, my dog goes over and gets a toy and brings it to me. Now, if it's a truly submissive dog, no problem. That dog is never going to take the ball and run downfield with it as far as behavior. The more dominant and pushy your dog is, they're going, wait a minute. So I instigated play and you complied. Okay. I instigated affection and attention because I came up and I nose nudged you, or I came up and I pawed at you, and you looked at me and you talked to me and you touched me. So I get it. Or you go to open the back door and you let me run out the door ahead of you, or you are heading up the stairs and I'm running past you. So all of these things for a dominant dog mean something. The takeaway from that dog is not what your takeaway is from that situation. Yours is really clear. I love my dog. If my dog tells me it's time to pet him, I'm going to pet him. But you got to understand, I've been doing this, guys, a long, long time. And I will tell you that in every single bite case that I have worked, first of all, it's not the dog. It's not the dog. It's you. Meaning it's the pet parent. These dominant dogs, they're all working dogs. All of my serious bite cases are. These dogs are starting to get an idea of what is our relationship really all about. The more they instigate and you comply, the more their takeaway is, okay, I guess I'm kind of more in charge. So over time, what happens is you go to try to correct that dog for something, or you go to try to tell that dog to do something, and they're kind of looking at you and shrugging you off. You ask them to come in and they're like, yeah, whatever. You try to correct them and they're like, okay? So there's a reason for that. This is exactly what I do, okay? I come in and help you define what is the relationship you are establishing with your dog, helping you understand what kind of temperament your dog has based on a couple of things that I like to do, and kind of go from there. Let's be clear. Dogs aren't sitting in shelters because they didn't learn how to sit, shake, or lie down. They're sitting in shelters because of behavioral problems that you can't get to the bottom of. So please call a professional, get help. I'm happy to help you. Email me, deb@themuttmaster.com, and my website, themuttmaster.com. Okay? And good luck.